Here's the story on Dick Butkus. I had a rare opportunity several years ago, downtown Chicago, to interview him in a hotel room for 4 hours. I learned everything from the time he was born to where he was at that point in his life after a great career in Hollywood and doing a lot of great things in the medical industry, trying to find out more about how drugs affect athletes, heart issues for himself. And I'll tell you, man, I learned so much about his love of the game. And then just 3 weeks ago, after the Bears lost to the Packers, I sat him down at Hallis Hall. He was in for alumni weekend. He spent about 45 minutes with Tremaine Edmonds. They were interviewing each other, and they turned the cameras off, and Edmonds was picking his brain on just what it's like to be an NFL athlete today and what it was when he played, advice and all that. And it was a really warm conversation. He always loved talking football. And then we sat down for an hour and went through his current situation about the game, where he's at 80 years old, and I learned a couple of things. One, his final thoughts, and the last question, to put it in perspective, he said with a tear in his eye just how much he loved the game. He said there's no chance, it'd be impossible to believe anybody loved the game of football more than him. This is a kid who grew up in Chicago, was throwing the football to himself in the front yard of his house when he was a little kid. That was his plan. From a young age, he was playing football, and he did it a great job at the high school level, the college level at U of I, a great All-American, a great Pro Bowler, and a great Chicago Bear, a face of the franchise, a face for the National Football League. There's not a guy in that Bears locker room that hasn't seen a Dick Butkus highlight. The grit, the blood, the physicality by which he played. And while he was gruffy at times, a big warm heart, and I always enjoyed our conversations with Dick Butkus.